Good evening, guys. Welcome back to one of my late night streams of U-Boat, the submarine simulation in World War II. Yeah, I've been on holiday for a week, so my last stream is more than 7 days ago. And so I'm glad, very happy to see you back in the stream. Now, what's the situation? It's foggy, actually, isn't it? So let's go once for the cinematic view. And yeah, you see we are in dense fog. And in the last stream, we actually managed to infiltrate a convoy in this dense fog. It was pretty tricky because it was so hard to track down the targets, identify them. But luckily, for some reason, the convoy had stopped and part of the ships were not moving at all. That made it a bit more simple. So we see here the last transport sinking. And now our situation is we can make up our mind whether to continue searching for more victims. We still have a few torpedoes left, or leaving and looking for another torpedo and for better weather, or yeah, getting back home, because we actually finished the mission. We sank sufficient amount of tonnage to call it a day and get back home. Yeah, let's think about that later. And for now, let me give you a brief overview of what I am doing here. So, those guys who know me, who are regular guests in the stream, please excuse me for doing this little, well, overall view, but maybe just you guys who see this for the first time might be glad to see what this is about. So, if you don't know the game at all, it's a Second World War submarine simulation, and you slip into the role of the commander of a German submarine. The whole thing is set into a beautiful open world, beautifully modeled open world, which means the whole map is in the game, the whole world map. You can just go anywhere you like. You have all the coastlines modeled in the game. You have the depths of the sea, of the seabed modeled in the game. And yeah, as I said, you can go wherever you like. Of course, it's recommended that you go where your senior officers want you to go. And I started the game at the very beginning of the war, which actually was Hitler's raid on Poland in September 1939. And yeah, then we cast off for the first time with a tiny Type 2 submarine. Low maximum speed, low range, few torpedoes, and with this small, pretty unsuitable submarine, we had to earn our merits in the North Sea and in the closer parts of the Atlantic. So later we actually got the opportunity to transfer to the nice town of La Rochelle, of course, after France was occupied by Germany. This allowed us to go deeper into the Atlantic, and that was about the time when we had earned enough merits so that headquarters allowed us to upgrade to the Type 7 submarine. And yeah, so with the Type 7 we went far into the middle of the Atlantic, did the Black Pit mission, and later we even got access to the so-called milk cows, which is supply submarines, which you can position secretly here in the middle of the Atlantic and use them as refuel, rearm and restock depot. And only these mobile refuel stations make it possible to actually reach the western shores of the Atlantic. And so we did the Operation Drumbeat and the operation here, the attack on Aruba successfully. And yeah, after having done that, I transferred my home port from beautiful French La Rochelle to also beautiful Norwegian Bergen. And from here we are very close to the mission set that we are doing at the moment. It's called Arctic Convoys. So you see, our job finally is to sink 250,000 tons within the scope of this Arctic Convoy mission set. And as you see, we already have done the first two. So we had 50,000, we had 100,000, and now we have to sink another 150,000 to actually finish the whole mission set. And that's where we are right now. And we were so lucky to run into a convoy. This is what I usually do. If you get contact to a convoy, usually you get it by hydrophone check, and then I do one hydrophone check per hour, and by this extrapolate the course of the convoy. And so as you see, I plotted an interception course and went into the convoy. Actually, yeah, that was quite successful here in the fog, which was pretty tricky to find the convoy, find the ships, but we sank something like, I don't know, 5, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We did sink at least 5 ships of the convoy, and now the question is what we are going to do to carry on. We could still check whether there are more victims. Alright, that's where we are. Let's dive into action. So the crew is on blue lighting, which means we have silent running enabled. At the moment we have all our engines stopped, so we are emitting minimum sound. We have just torpedoed and sunk that guy over there. And yeah, let's see. And by the way, welcome back to the stream. It's a pleasure to have you. Hey, not wet, just cold. That's great. Great to see you in the chat. Yeah, whenever I go for holiday, I'm a little bit afraid. Or, well, let me not call it afraid, but kind of anxious that all of you guys come back to the stream when I'm back from holiday. So glad to see you. How was your week? By the way, we have propeller noises. There is a moving ship there. So according to my figures here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know. Not quite sure how many ships I actually did sink. But this guy there is probably not yet accounted for having it sunk, because it's still floating. Come on, guy. You have to sink sooner or later. Sometimes it takes ages. The boat has actually drifted away. It just takes ages until these ships sink. Well, for some it was pretty fast, but that one here is just not going down. course we don't find our submarine like that in the fog. Maybe we should just wait and observe for a little while. And this guy there, that might well be a military. It's very close, 1.5 miles. That guy is closing in. I have to be careful. There are still escorts around, and this guy might be an escort. And maybe they are going after me right now. That's him. Sinking. Do I have any contact?
320 Grad.
Okay, there is another coaster. At 320, which is -40.
Küstenschiff, 300 Grad. Küstenschiff, 295 Grad.
There are more of these guys. So, -40. Shall we see that we get for that guy? But yeah, let's keep in mind that there might still be enemy escorts around. I'm just a bit worried that this other guy is not sinking. Yeah, I should go slow ahead. Come on, guy, go down. Please go down so that finally I get your tonnage accounted for. By the way, let's save the game. You stream, you save, W316. Here we are. Yeah, it is going down. Just takes a while. Pretty realistic. We do have a bit of water in the bilge, but I would definitely not turn on the pump right now. There's propellers moving. Yeah, guys, nice. I see a few more people in the stream. It's a pleasure to have you in again. Yeah, I was away for a while. I actually was on holiday with the family. So, yeah, we had a very good time. It was great. But I'm happy to be back with you, and pretty glad that there are a few guys watching again. So not just cold, you are with me. Nice to have you in. Hope you had a good week. And a few more guys actually. Mr. Strauss, he's getting tired. I need to give him some coffee. Or he will have to turn in. And Mr. Arles just as well. Here we are. Hey, Mr. Arles. I want you to be ready at the engines. Just, nah, come on. Get some rest at the moment. We don't need the engines at flank. Working ship propeller. Pretty close. Let's just hope that this is not a military. It's now more or less exactly at 1 mile distance. And bearing would be 60 degrees to port.
Handelsschiff, 300 Grad. Küstenschiff, 310 Grad.
Yeah, I can put the periscope up further. It's so foggy, nobody would spot me. Who are you? I'm a bit afraid that there might also be escorts, men of war, being around. Some ship dead ahead 1 mile, and yeah, we have so poor visibility. It's definitely less than 1 mile. Visibility is maybe just half a mile or something, or even less. So it's gonna be tricky to track these other guys down. We are silently running, which means that torpedo maintenance is stopped. I have to order it individually. This Torpedo tube number 4 definitely needs maintenance. Let's give it. And yeah, come on, tube 1 just as well. Or let's give it tube 2. Yeah, tube 1 seems to be not accessible right now. Yeah, these details are actually hidden in the game. Like that certain tubes are not accessible when one of the other tubes is being maintained. Pretty much like these concepts. Mr. Arles, Mr. Schneider. So Mr. Arles is my first mechanic, Mr. Schneider my second mechanic. Mr. Grader, at the moment he is supervising the depth keeping. At the depth steers. He's our chief engineer. We have Mr. Schultz at the targeting computer over there. He's our bosun, and of course the captain right here, Mr. Lamprecht, and who else? Mr. Hinrich, he's our first radio officer and hydrophone expert. He's taking a rest, he's off watch. You also have to take care that your officers get enough sleep. There he is. And actually here Mr. Strauss is manning the hydrophone. He's being supported by one crewmate, Mr. Lawrence. And this is one of these great features of the game, that you have the whole crew being modeled individually. So you are not controlling a kind of robot machine by pressing buttons, but you are actually controlling this machine by giving orders to a real crew. And they then are carrying out your orders and make the machine, the submarine, do what you want. And this is so beautiful. This is something that you often don't have in simulations. Like, I mean, going back to history, man was a factor. Nowadays you have a lot of computer controlled stuff, automated stuff, but back then, hey, aqua icing. Hi, did you see that remark? Now that you mention it, I thought that I forgot to actually activate this message. Yeah, it's my 2-year affiliate anniversary. Yeah, that's right. Pretty amazing. Yeah, thank you very much for the congrats. And I'm very happy to have you in, as I'm sure you have recognized I haven't been doing any stream for more than a week because I was off with my family on holiday. So, aqua icing, I hope you had a good week. And I'm very happy to have you back in the stream. Yeah, it was great. Holidays were great. So we went to France, to the Alps. And yeah, my family went skiing. And so I had a few days, well, this kind of rare opportunity where I did have the whole day just for me. So there was a little bit of planning I had to do job-wise. But yeah, as I used to emphasize, I quite like my job, so that was fine. So I used some of the time to plan a project for my job, and most of the time I was actually working on a personal long-term project that I have, and that seems to never get finished. And this is my science fiction novel. So since years I'm working on a science fiction novel and writing samples here and there, but well, it just doesn't yet fit together to be some overall thing. But yeah, I used the time and well worked on that one, and that was great, having kind of each day several hours really putting into that one. So well, maybe yeah, that kind of gave me the hope that maybe one day I am actually publishing this novel, but I'm still far, far away from that. And so it was pretty beautiful. We had lots of snow, so it was quite a work to get the snow off our car when we wanted to get back. Lots of snow, yeah. So we had a pretty hard time yesterday evening to actually dig all the snow away from the car and then put these chains on the tires and get the car out of that heap of snow. And so we moved it just half a meter ahead, and so now in the morning it was mobile. Yeah, I don't know if you how you call that concept in English, but this is when you have a lot of snow and ice, you can actually put some chains around your tires, which give you a little bit more grip. Okay, now in around here it's actually mandatory. So in the Alps there are a lot of roads where you have these street signs which indicate that when it's snowing, these kind of chains are obligatory. Of course, you have to put them off again as soon as there is no snow anymore, because they quickly get destroyed. Yep, yep. If it gets steep up, steep down, you really need these things when you have a lot of snow. And we actually needed them to get the car out of that parking lot. I never had it that extreme before. And this morning, well, we went up pretty early in the morning, like something like 5 o'clock. And yeah, we had breakfast, and at 6 o'clock we got the car, and yeah, everything was frozen. So in the evening it was kind of thawing a bit, so we had some mud on the road, snowy mud, and it froze again over the night. So that was pretty tricky this morning. But finally we were on the road something like 7:30, and it took us 9 hours. So today we had 9 hours of drive. Half of the time my wife drove, and the other half of the time I did the driving. So from France, from the French Alps to here where we live in the Frankfurt area, it is, well, ideally 8 hours of drive, but well, we had a bit of traffic jam, so it was 9 hours. And I think overall we were pretty lucky that it wasn't more traffic jams. Hey, that's pretty amazing. I would have guessed that it would be much colder on your place, and that you would still have plenty of snow. Yeah, but around here where I live, in the Frankfurt area, yeah, friends told us that there was a little bit of snow last weekend or last week, but nothing that would stay. We never have much of snow around here. Yeah, okay, that's amazing, because around here in Central Europe we have one of the coldest winters since long. let's maintain tube 1. Here we go. And I could also do tube 3. What is it? 1, 2, 3, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, same here, but we have this offset. It's pretty warm around here, particularly in this part where I live. Yeah, they are doing wine here. So this is really one of the warmest parts of Germany, I think. Yeah, that's funny. So around here it's unusually cold, and around your place it's unusually warm. Yeah, let's check the map and the hydrophone. Okay, so these contacts seem to be gone. At least we don't hear anything.
Küstenchef, direkt voraus.
There. Is it moving? Is it moving? Well, shall we briefly switch to the cinematic view? Some might call it cheating, but I call it, yeah, getting some immersion. So there must be some ship more or less dead ahead. And it is not moving, is it? Yeah, we could sink another guy. It's so foggy, you don't find any ship. And that guy is not about to sink. Must have been somewhere there, and I think I didn't yet get it recognized as a kill. Must have been somewhere there. Is it? Hey guy, are you still there? It's just too hard to find any ship in this fog. Yeah, but it must have been somewhere over there. Yes, it is. It's so hard to actually find your targets in this laundry. Let's approach the guy. Maybe we can sink a few more of them. Must be more or less dead ahead. Yeah, let's see that we get that guy. Yeah, the sinking wreck must be somewhere around here. I fear that we didn't get that accounted for in terms of tonnage.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
There it is.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
So what's the maintenance status of the torpedoes? We did a little bit of time acceleration, but yeah, they are okay.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Yeah, we didn't get any report from that other ship sinking. It's a coaster, yeah. Shall we stop the
Alle
engines?
Maschinen stopp.
Velocity is 0. Angle on bow, well, it doesn't matter, but it's something like that. 90 degrees, and now the distance. Hard to tell. Let's see how we can estimate that.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 8,15 Meter. Lage 9,5 rechts.
Yeah, let's put the torpedo there. And give it a save. Maintenance is fine, I think. Yep. The T3 is the electric one. Let's take that one.
Rohr 1 bewässern.
Magnetic pistol. Draught 7.3. Shall we try it with a draught of 8? I think that should do it.
Los.
Lager 9. Folgen Sie mir.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Ja. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedo.
Alright, let's see. That's the magnetic pistol. So the plan is that it passes underneath the keel and then detonates due to the magnetic interaction. Oh shit! It was going too deep. It was going too deep. Sometimes it's like that the ship is being lifted by a wave and then the torpedo just goes underneath. Too deep. So give it one more try. Guy. No. That's a bit weird. It's a coaster, just like we had it. And now try it with
Rohr 2 bewässern.
this one. And put it to 7.5.
Rohr 2 bewässert.
Los.
Folgen Sie mir.
Bestätige. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. Ja. 30 Sekunden.
So fingers crossed that this one is gonna do it.
20 Sekunden.
Hey! What is this? Ah shit, I did not put on the magnetic pistol, did I? That was a bit stupid. Come on, let's just reload. I think I forgot to put on the magnetic pistol and just had the impact pistol, right? I would really like to figure that out because it's weird. That's definitely a coaster, so the broad should be correct. There we had them. And now let's see if I can do it better. It's not a C3, it's a... It's a coaster, definitely. And the coaster has a rod. Ah, okay. Hey, weird. Okay, alright, then it's clear. So what did I do wrong? The coaster has a rod of 3.5, so put the torpedo on 4. That was the problem.
Rohr 1 bewässern.
Rohr 1 bewässert.
Los!
Ich benötige Ihre Unterstützung. Folgen Sie mir. Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Load the torpedo, please, Mr. Schneider.
Ja. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedo ein.
So this should work now. Please. Okay, it's said to be serious damage. And they start to be listing right away.
Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
Yeah, okay, they are evacuating, but it's not yet sinking. But they are going down. Let's hope that they are going down, that we get some signature that we can report.
Hüllenbruch, sie sinken.
That was fast. Okay. The hull has been broken apart and they're going down. Nice. Ah, nice. Wasabi, hi hi, nice to have you in. Yep, yep. That's so great to have you guys in. Yeah, I have been away for a while, haven't I? Yeah, 1 week of holidays, so I'm very relieved that you are back in the stream and didn't forget about me. Great to have you in, guys. How are you doing? How was your last week?
Küstenschiff, 285 Grad.
Okay, there is another one at minus -80 actually, or 75.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Like that.
Kurs setzen.
Let's go for that one. Yeah, it's so great. I had a good time. On holiday, we actually went to France for skiing to the Alps. Hey, that's great. Yep, yep. That sounds nice. I think that's quite good kind of type of job. Like, I mean, senior home means that it's old people who need kind of bit of support in their life, right? And you give it to them. Is this what the job actually is? Yeah, yeah, okay. Any song that sounds good in guitar. Well, it depends a bit on your skill. My guitar skills are very limited, so a song that I would recommend for my limited guitar skills would be something like All Along the Watchtower, which consists only of 3 chords. That good old Bob Dylan song, which was covered by U2. Or, well, one other song that I actually was once able to play by myself was I Shot the Sheriff. Nah, which one was it? Well, yeah, we were saying that. Yeah, do it. Just do it. Nah, it's not I Shot the Sheriff, it's yeah, my guitar skills are very basic. So I guess that you're probably better than me. Okay, what is this? That's a bit weird. Okay, here we are. There we get the contact. Another coaster. Okay, well, let me check that later. Hey, that's nice. That's nice. What do you think about going into marketing later? Marketing and advertising. That looks nice. Or some design stuff. That's very nice. And yeah, nice. The crisps. Silly guy that likes to stream. Yep. That's me, actually. Yeah, nice. I like that one. Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, actually. Nice advertising. Yeah, meanwhile, I see that quite a few more guys have been dropping into the stream. It's a pleasure to have you in. So whoever you are, rest assured that you're completely anonymous. So if you just silently want to watch, just watch, perfectly fine. But of course you could make a little streamer like me a little bit more happy if you participate in the chat or give me even a follow. But yeah, forget about the follow. Please first just give me some feedback. Always glad to know what your relationship to the game is. What you think about this stream, what you think about the stream, about the game. Just share your opinion. Hey, yeah, Stairway to Heaven, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the classics. Yeah, beautiful song, I love it. I pretty much like Led Zeppelin. And particularly that song. I remember a movie. Was it Blues Brothers? Blues Brothers. I think there was a guitar hanging on the wall in the guitar shop, and there was a sign put on the wall of the guitar shop which said "No Stairway to Heaven," right? That was Blues Brothers, I think. Anybody remembers? No Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, beautiful movie. It's banned in music stores, yeah. But it's a beautiful song, and it's a wonderful song to kind of, yeah, get into guitar playing. Yeah, Aqua Icing, you should watch it. Watch it again. It's a great movie. Yeah, I don't know, it's from the 80s, right? Late 80s? I'm not quite sure. There he is. And I think we already get eyes on that one. Yeah, Smoke on the Water. It's also good, yeah. Hey, by the way, Smoke on the Water, if you mention it, I told you that we went to the French Alps, and from here we drove all the way down through Switzerland, and we passed by the Lake Geneva, actually. On the Lake Geneva shoreline. If it rings a bell. Yeah, we actually passed by Geneva and the Lake Geneva. We all went down to Montreux on the Lake Geneva shoreline to make records with the mobile. We didn't have much time. Frank Zappa and the Mothers were at the same place around, but some stupid with a flare gun burned the place to the ground. Believe me, I'm not googling it. That was just from the back of my head. So Smoke on the Water is great, yep. That guitar riff. There we go. Our next victim. But let me be AFK just for 1 second. It's not a band song, is it? Well, in music stores. I don't know. Maybe yes. Alright. Yeah, the funny thing is that all the story about Smoke on the Water is a story that actually happened like that. So that ship must be just somewhere ahead. There it is. Not the best angle to hit, but it's just a coaster as well. Ah, it's so nice to have all of you guys back in. Yeah, these holidays, they always make me a bit afraid, like wondering, are the guys coming back into the stream afterwards, or are they forgetting about me? But you're not, and that's great.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Mr. Schneider, maintain torpedo number 5, please. Yeah, this should be alright. Yeah, it's a long time since I actually did put hands on my guitar. And back then, even then, I was never good.
Kurs setzen.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Yeah, that's very nice to hear. And yeah, some holiday, which was nice. Like I said, I had a pretty good time, so went with my family to the French Alps, and yeah, they went skiing, and so I had quite some nice time, which I usually never have. So sitting there in our holiday apartment and just having the time to do things that I usually never have time to do. Like, well, job-wise, I actually did a bit of project management, which is good to have done, but most of the time I was actually working on my novel, on my science fiction novel that I'm working on since felt something like 30 years, and probably it's never going to be finished, but yeah, these few days back then, last week, gave me the feeling that sooner or later I might be able to actually finish it and publish it, but at the moment I'm still far, far away from that. Ah, okay, Wasabi. So, are you on holidays then, or?
Kurs setzen.
No. Shall we fire? I think we shall. Coaster, velocity 0. Angle on bow is something like that, but it doesn't matter. And the distance, well, yeah, alright. Let's hope
Aktualisieren.
that the torpedo is actually gonna prime on that short distance. Wow, Wasabi, 3 months from now on? That's pretty unusual. I mean, there are in Europe, in France, I think you have quite something like 2 or 3 months of summer holiday, but not in winter. That sounds pretty good. In 3 months, you can do quite a lot of reasonable stuff. So, what's your plans for the holidays actually?
Rohr 1 bewässern.
Magnetic ignition. And here we are
Bewässert.
with the 4 meters of draught. Think we can go like that.
Los.
Herr Kaloin.
Shall we reload?
Wohl, Herr Kaloin.
Ja.
was a clean hit, I think. Yeah, Wasabi. So, what's your plan? What are you gonna do?
Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
The crew is evacuating. There is the lifeboat. Yeah, these beautiful details, actually. And the guy is sinking. The guy is sinking. There they are going down in the fog. Yeah, we hear the noises of the sinking wreck. All these things are so beautifully detailed in the game. Yeah, sometimes I think that probably all these sinking wrecks wouldn't be that spectacular. Maybe they would just sink on an even keel.
Hüllenbruch, sie sinken.
Okay, that should account me for the kill, right? Yeah, it does. Nice. They're sinking. I think there were more, weren't there? There is another one. Who are you? $3.30.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, somebody could. Sorry. Maintain the stern torpedo. Sorry. Okay, that guy is sinking, and we already received the sinking signature. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I did catch a little cold, but it's not too bad. At least not until now. Let's hope it's not gonna get worse. Okay, that's him.
Küstenschiff, 25 Grad. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
There seems to be another one. Okay, I'll be AFK just for 1 minute. I need to get some late night snack, a sandwich or something. Be back in a minute. Hey, Pitt. It's a pleasure to have you. Great. Thanks for the raid. Thanks a lot. It was just AFK briefly to get me a sandwich. Hey, Matthew. Yep, thanks. No, it isn't. I'm back. Yeah, Matthew, if you're still there, it's a pleasure to have you in. And Pitt, sounds like you went to bed. Nevertheless, thanks a lot for the raid. That's so great of you. That's much appreciated. So sorry for the munching. Just got me a little snack. So there should be one more target in the fog. Something in German. Herr Lamprecht, Kapitän Lamprecht ist am Periskop. Und Bootsmann gerade hilft den Leuten. Also, ich habe echt Probleme, ne? I really get problems, like I'm so much used to do all this in English. So switching to German just by now gives me a bit of problems. Also, ich hoffe, dass wir hier noch ein weiteres Schiff versenken können. I hope that we can sink one more ship. It should be more or less dead ahead. No, still pretty far away. Still pretty far away. And it's just another coaster. You understood that I said that I love tacos? Nah, I don't actually. I love crisps, I love peanuts, I love sandwiches for my late night snacks, but I usually don't have tacos, I have to admit. Not that I don't like them, but usually I don't have them. It's another coaster, velocity 0. Don't know why. And let's see that we get close enough to fire. Not enough tacos. Yeah, I don't know. I never connected to tacos, I have to admit. I think I like them. I mean, if you have this kind of sauce, salsa with the tacos, that's fine, but I don't have them. Not because I don't like them, but yeah, kind of out of habit. It's not one of my standard snacks, I have to admit. Now let's just get a little bit closer. And now what's the maintenance status? Grilled grasshoppers. I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe that's not quite my business.
Benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, let's give it a bit more maintenance just to be sure.
Bestätige.
Just to be sure that we don't get dots. Yeah, well, now this is interesting because I like to eat prawns. So if this kind of food comes from the sea, it's perfectly fine for me. But if it is coming from the land, it makes me kind of suspicious, I have to admit. So I think I really would not like to try grasshoppers. Let me be frank about that. Any more contacts? Tube 1 is ready.
Aktualisieren. Winkel 5, 0 rechts.
What about the distance? Something like that.
Aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel 5, 2, 7 Meter. Rohr 1 bewässern.
So it's a draught of 4 meters.
Los. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag.
And let's load our final torpedo to tube 1 and see what we get.
Ja. 20 Sekunden.
There we go. That should be a smooth hit, fingers crossed. Yeah, fire on deck. It's serious damages. Sorry guys, allow me to be AFK for just 1 more minute.
Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
Going down. Hey Wasabi, thank you very much for that nice feedback. That's very kind of you to say so. Torpedo tube 1 reloaded. Torpedo Rohr 1 geladen. You asked me to do a little bit of German, so it would be Torpedo Rohr 1 geladen. Das war ein Volltreffer. Sie gehen unter. Oh shit.
Langsame Fahrt zurück.
Shit, I was moving all the time. I didn't stop the engines. Almost ran into the wreck. Almost ran into the burning wreck.
Kleine Fahrt voraus. Kurs setzen. Sie gehen unter. Perfekt.
Okay, they're dying. They're going down, so we are gonna get that tonnage accounted for. That's good.
Kurs setzen. Kurs setzen.
Yeah, they are sinking. They are going down. Now let's find more victims in the fog. I think there was more contacts. There is one, is it? So 70 degrees. That's kind of a weird action in the fog. Let's see what we can still harvest. The map. Yeah, so there is a lot of contacts. I'm playing at almost maximum difficulty level, which also means that I don't have the contacts of my targets automatically displayed on the map, but I actually have to track my targets manually by entries on the map. And so, yeah, the map after a while might quite look like a mess. let's just keep an eye open. Looks like there is another contact. Another possible target.
Handelsschiff, 350 Grad.
10 degrees, change course by 10 degrees. And get for that guy. More or less dead ahead. Let's check it. Okay, weird. Nothing ahead. There is propeller noises pretty close. Port. Yeah, it's such a bad visibility. Okay, hey, Wasabi. Never heard of that guy. So what I did read was the Forrester stories and the O'Brien stories about Jack Aubrey. The other one about Mr. Hornblower. But I never heard about Arturo Pratt. So could you explain what is this about and in which era does it actually play? Okay, that's a bit weird that I don't see anything. Right. It's a C3, right? And it's also not moving. That's weird. So we are going for the C3 this time. There it is. Velocity is 0, obviously. And angle and bow we will see. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna keep that. Let me see. I need some piece of paper to write that down. Let me mark it classically. Arturo Pratt. Gonna check that. I'm always happy for good hints with respect to stories. Yeah, gonna check that. Hey, Scratchy. Nice to have you in. Yeah, actually, it's my affiliate jubileum. Yeah. Anniversary. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the good wishes. Yeah, 2 years actually. I probably did already tell the story how I actually got affiliate, right? So back then I was mainly streaming DayZ. Yeah, you can stream on Twitch, and as soon as you become an affiliate, you get some additional features. So on the one hand, you you get some money, but well, actually, for like a streamer like me, it's just a few cents per month, to put it like that. But you get, as soon as you are an affiliate, you get a few cents per people watching you per hour or something like that. Yeah, like just in the order of magnitude that I am on the way. It just doesn't matter. But on the other hand, you get some means to twiggle around. So what I actually do is reduce the number of ads and reduce the time of the ads. This is these things that you can actually do as soon as you are an affiliate. So actually you can earn a little bit of money with streaming, like I do it. It just doesn't matter. But on the other hand, you get some more, possibilities to kind of, for example, as soon as I went affiliate, I could have more streams being stored before they actually get deleted. Things like that. I would get more money if I would make the ads longer, but I'm pretty much afraid that I would piss you off and people not watching my streams anymore if I would have so long ads. That's the point. And I am actually not doing it for the money. And look at it. Right now we got raided, and then we have something like 14 people in the stream, which is pretty nice. And even if I don't get raided, I sometimes have up to something like 10 or 12 people in the stream, and that's great. But that's not about making money. It's just a few cents, and so it just doesn't make any difference whether I put the ads up to a long time or minimize it. And so I prefer to minimize it, not to piss off people watching. Hey, what do you think, Wasabi? What do you think? Do I have fun or do I have not fun? Of course I have. This is all about fun. I love to get in contact with you guys. Having people over all the continents, communicating with people who are an ocean away. That's so fascinating. And so I love gaming, and I love the communication with you guys. So streaming is just the right thing for me. And it's not about getting money or something. It's just about the fun, yeah. It's really just about the fun. I mean, of course, if it would suddenly turn out that hundreds and thousands of people would love my stream and drop in and I could make a living out of streaming, I might consider doing it. Nevertheless, I quite like my actual job, so streaming is kind of an aficionado thing. Okay, the target is closing in, or I am closing in on the target, to put it like that. Let's see what we can do. Maybe I should turn my cursor a little bit more port-wise. Yeah, and what I really love is you guys like Wasabi, Scratchy, Aqua Icing, Pit Pencil, and Yippee Up if you're still there. So you guys, you're very nice, good old acquaintances. And it's a pleasure to have you guys in and have a nice little conversation with you. So that's what streaming is for me. Meeting some nice lads and lasses. And this fascination about meeting people all over the world. How cute, you say. That sounds weird if you call it cute. Maybe I feel a bit weird about being called cute. But it's alright. It's perfectly fine. Yes. Yeah, let's see that we get a little bit closer. Let's give it one more save. And then sink that guy. It's a C3. That's a particularly large merchantman. Just the distance is a bit hard to estimate in the fog. Wasabi, what do you mean? I mean, the planet would be either good or... these are... Imagine, I mean, 2000 years. That's a time period. Looking back, what was back in 2000 years ago? It was the Romans conquering the European world. It was roughly like Jesus being born. Okay, I admit it's not historically confirmed. Yeah, but of course it's a valid question. What would the world look like in the year 5000? But I can't imagine. I just can't imagine that so far away. I would just hope that man is still alive. Because there is so much potential that man might just annihilate himself. So, whatever mankind would be in the year of 5000, I would just hope that we are still there then. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, okay. If it was a joke, it seems like I didn't get him. Angle on bow. It's something, I don't know. Is it like that? And what about the distance? Let's just name it 5000. We really just don't know. Yes. So if it's not moving, all these figures just don't matter actually. Let's see if we can sink it with one decent torpedo. Okay, that's the Zaunkönig. We don't need it. They're not moving, so they're not emitting any propeller noise.
Rohr 4, bewässern.
Drought 7.3. So put it to 7. Yeah, 8. Let's put it to 8.
Los. 40 Sekunden.
Give it a fire. We don't have any more spare torpedoes. No reloading. Okay, there it goes. Let's see. This is gonna be. It's gonna hit in the stern.
10 Sekunden bis Einschlag.
Okay, it sounds like serious damage. Let's see what it's gonna be. Hey, come on. Used to be afraid from speed bumps. I'm trying to get over it. Yeah. I get that joke. So, it's listing, and let's hope that it is sinking like that.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
Let's stop. And it's sinking. Hey, come on. That's like, in German, we would call these kind of jokes Karlauer. You can't beat them. Okay, the crew is evacuating. But yeah, that still doesn't mean that the ship is sinking and we don't get it accounted for. The tonnage yet. We will only get that accounted for when it's actually gonna go down. Empire Wolf, it's the name. And there is the lifeboats. I like these views. Maybe we can make a thumbnail out of that. And it's so wonderfully modeled. You see, there is this, in German we would say Krähennest. This lookout up there in the mast. Yeah, I can't punch you because you're too far away. But on the other hand, I never would. I never would. Yeah, dad jokes. Is it dad jokes? This is what I actually always try to avoid, to make dad jokes. If if it is what I would understand by dad jokes. Like, I remember my dad doing jokes. Yeah, my dad was actually a cool guy, but he also, now and then, he actually did these kind of dad jokes. Shall I tell you a joke? Well, I'm not very good in jokes, and particularly I don't have a large repertoire in British jokes or jokes in English. But there is this one. What does a farmer do if his tractor breaks down? Oh, okay, let me wait for the ads. Let me wait for the ads. Hey, yippee yep. Yeah, that was one way. Oh, they are going down, aren't they? Breaking apart. Nice. The whole ship is breaking apart. That was beautiful, wasn't it? No, the answer is he's gonna write a John Deere letter. So, question is, what does a farmer do when his tractor breaks down? And the answer is, he writes a John Deere letter. So did we get that one accounted for? Yes, we did. Empire Wolf. So now we just have a few torpedoes left, and I'm thinking about getting back home. Shall we?
Kurs setzen. Halbe Fahrt voraus. Anblasen. Eventuelle Tiefe.
Let's try. Let's see if we just get out of here by getting to the surface, or if they are gonna pick us up by the radar. That's interesting to find out. It's a bit of a risk, but I never checked that. I'm pretty curious if they would just recognize us now in the fog by radar. Let's do the risk.
Funkraum besetzen.
Yeah, it's a bit risky, but I think in the fog we could just get away.
Äußerste Kraft voraus.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Okay, radio detection. Skipper, the enemy has started an alarm and it seems likely that they detected our radio transmission. Yep, I thought so, that this might happen. But let's assume that in the fog we could just easily get away. No, I don't know that guy. Please explain.
Telegram gesendet.
Oh, okay. To be honest, I'm still not quite getting that joke. Okay, yes, he's all right. Yeah. Now, yeah, now I see it. He's all right. Yes. Yeah, it's always not improving the joke if you have to actually explain the punchline. But now I see what you mean. Yep. He's all right. Yep. Yeah, I think we get away with that. From the convoy, we have fired a lot of torpedoes and sank a lot of tonnage. So I think it would be decent to get back to port. We fulfilled our mission. Hey, Wasabi. I think this is kind of a joke with the words which I don't quite understand because Deodor. Yes, okay, I get it. I get it, yeah. Yes, maybe. You might rent a big room and put a bar chair in the middle, sit on it, and tell jokes. And people would pay the entry fee for it. Alright, guys. I wouldn't overdo it. I'm definitely going to do another stream tomorrow, because on Monday I have to work, but I still can sleep a little bit longer, so I am going to do a Saturday night late night stream. And right now I have to go to bed. Yeah, I said, we had a tough night. Yeah, gute Nacht. Yeah. Yep, yep. Yeah. We had a tough travel home. We were spending 9 hours in the car today. So, yeah, I've got to turn in. Gute Nacht. Yeah. Yeah, that's alright. Have a good night, guys. Aquicing. It was a pleasure to have you, Wasabi. Thanks for the wonderful discussion that we had about jokes. Yep, yep. It's always a pleasure to have you in. So, any more guys in? Scratchy. Scratchy, you were in. If you are still there, have a good night. It was a pleasure. And Matthew, you also did give some input into the chat. If you might be still there, it was a pleasure to have you. And I think Pitt, he just went out right after he did the raid. Nevertheless, thanks a lot for the raid, Pitt, and much appreciated. So guys, have a good night and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.